June 1st, the time for fertilizing the onions, guys, is right now. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I fertilize my onions, what type of fertilizer I use, and why I use that type of fertilizer. So right after this, I'll show you. Okay, so here's the onion bed. Actually, there's two of them. That one's not ready yet. I still got to get rid of all those volunteer tomatoes there. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you this one. I already weeded pretty good. So let me set this camera up and let's talk about the fertilizer first. All right, so the fertilizing of the onions is like I explained in the video I did, planting the onions. I gave the whole breakdown as how onions have two stages. There's a vegetative stage and then there's the bulbing stage. Well, right now, like I explained in that video, I will actually link it somewhere along this video. Right now, we're concentrating is on the vegetative stage. And to fix that is with pure nitrogen. That's it. Just 100% pure nitrogen. Well, not 100%. 21% nitrogen. And this is what I use. I use ammonium sulfate. This stuff has worked for me tremendously. I've been using it for quite a few years now. And let me explain to you why I choose this brand. I used to use blood meal. You know, when I first started growing onions, I used to use blood meal as a nitrogen source. You know, and I thought I was doing okay. I was getting, you know, decent, you know, baseball size onions. And I thought, wow, you know, I'm one hell of an onion grower. Don't they know that I'm making a video? But anyway, like I was saying, I thought I was one heck of an onion grower where I was growing, you know, baseball size onions. Hey, everything's great. But then I came across this product here. It's sold by Horse Tools, ammonium sulfate 2100, and I started using this. I went from, you know, baseball size to softball size onions and bigger, because this stuff is pure nitrogen. Right here, where you get blood meal is not pure nitrogen. It's, you know, and it's very low in nitrogen, where your onions need a high number of nitrogen. Forget these other two numbers. If you want to grow big onions, don't worry about those two numbers. Worry about is the nitrogen. So let me show you exactly the way I do it. We're gonna do is what I call, a lot of people call the side dress method. Just basically, why don't I show you instead of talking about it? All right. So the side dressing method is pretty simple. I'll tune the camera down and you guys can see here. So basically the way I do it is you can see I have a row right here. I just, with my hand, I make a simple trench. I'd say about 1.5, 2 inches deep. Just like that. Pretty simple. And then what I'll do is this trench here is going to feed this row and this row. So I'll skip this row right here. I'll skip this one. And I'll move on to the next row where it'll feed this one, and then so on, so on. Because if I put nitrogen in this one, and then in this one, this row right here is going to get a lot more than it actually needs. So you have to think of it that way, is right down the middle, you'll feed 2 rows at a time. So if you're asking how much do I put, I don't measure. I know the size of my bed. This is a 10-foot bed, and usually I do about a half a cup per furrow that I do here, or trench, whatever you want to call it, as I do about a half a cup. And from experience, I know that, a handful of mine is a half a cup of fertilizer, which this fertilizer is granulated, but it actually dissolves throughout regular watering. It dissolves pretty quickly, so it's actually pretty fast acting. I mean, when I bring you guys back in like 2 weeks on a review on these onions, I mean, you're going to be amazed. I mean, I just sprinkle it right in, nothing fancy. Just a little more for the end. Then I'm just going to cover it up. And guys, that is how I fertilize the onions. This is, if you want to grow big onions, I promise you, this is not a step that you want to skip. I planted these, I believe it was in mid-April. So what I did was I allowed the roots to establish themselves, and the plants are now thriving. You can tell that they're thriving. And as soon as you can tell that, June 1st, June 2nd, right around there, you need to give them that nitrogen to be successful at growing big onions. I will be doing this process every 3 weeks until the bulbing stage starts. So you might be asking, well, how do I know when the bulbing stage starts? Well, the bulbing stage, the onion will start actually forming a bulb is on the longest day of the year. So figure out the longest day of the year. I think it might be July 21st or something like that, I think. Don't hold me to that, but you can Google it. But I think it's somewhere around there. As soon as the longest day of the year passes, the onion no longer wants to make greens. The onion now wants to start growing that bulb. As soon as that day passes, do not fertilize ever again. Not with nitrogen, not with phosphorus, not potassium, not with nothing. At that point, what you want to do is you want to give it water every other day, and you want to water it and water it and water it, because onions are like 90% water. So it's very important. Once the bulbing stage starts, after the longest day of the year, water, 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 no fertilizer. Okay guys, and before I end this video, I want to give you guys just a quick tip. A quick tip. You see how I have onions all around this tomato bed? You guys can see that. Well, I'm not going to fertilize these onions. Do you guys know why? Because these onions, first of all, I don't want them to get big, big, big. I just want these to use and harvest as green onions, spring onions, whatever. But the reason why I do not want to throw nitrogen on this bed, at least not that high amount of nitrogen, is because there is no way I want to give my tomato plants, excuse me, that much nitrogen. So you have to think about that. When you're fertilizing your crops, and if you have them integrated with one another, you have to think, okay, the onions like nitrogen, But the tomatoes don't like that much nitrogen, nor should they get that much nitrogen. That's just a little tip. All right, you guys made it all the way to the end. Thank you. I appreciate you sticking all the way to the end, watching the video. Usually it's said is when you want to learn something is you complete the lesson. You don't get expelled from class 5 minutes into it. You don't learn anything. So sticking in class all the way to the end is the best way to learn something. So if you guys are interested in this ammonium sulfate from Horse Tools, I do have an affiliate link with Horse Tools that if you guys want to purchase this, I will leave the link down in the description box. If you guys click on that link, follow it, it'll take you to this. You won't be disappointed. This will not let you down when it comes to onions, garlic, leeks. I mean, you can see it all right here. I've been using it for many years, and it's my go-to. So, I mean, it's up to you guys, and using that link, you will help me, help support me and the channel. With that being said, once again, thank you for sticking to the end. And you guys, while you're on the channel, you don't have to leave. You know, you guys can watch, some of these videos. Actually, why don't you watch some of these videos? Till next time, you guys stay safe.